off work sports, sleeping a little bit because the draft is done, and NFL is just getting started, training camp, and there's some moves going. That's what's going to be up next for a couple weeks. It's going to be NFL crazy, but there's still this NBA gossip buzz in my ear. And the reason why is the LA Lakers, the Houston Rockets, the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets. We still got things to resolve in the NBA. And the number one thing I'm thinking about right now is the rumors about Christopher Paul from the Houston Rockets. Chris Paul, a player that came in the league out of Wake Forest in 2005. The next coming of Isaiah Thomas from the Detroit Pistons. A guy who I think had his best years with the LA Clippers, the Blake Griffin years. The fact of the matter is they're talking about Chris Paul demanding a trade. Those allegations from Chris Paul's marketing team have stated that that's false. But I want to get into if there was an inkling of a rumor of Chris Paul in 2019 going into 2020, who came in the league in 2005, folks, that's 15 years, demanding a trade, he has to rethink what his abilities are and what he can bring to the table. Because as you know, off work focuses on the stats. And what the stats tell me are not good things. This is the law of diminishing returns. And Chris Paul has done his thing already, but his body probably won't allow him, if they play him similar minutes, to hold on. Let's get into it. First off, Chris Paul, career-wise, when you look at his averages, I'm going to kind of look at the screen and jump over, okay? Let's just kick off with what he's doing now, all right? I'm going to try to do two things at once, and you guys can focus in on this, right? So Christopher Paul is averaging 17 points per game. This was in the postseason. I'm trying to get the 17 points per game in the postseason. 6.4 rebounds per game, which is good. 5.5 assists per game. This is coming from one of the most highly regarded point guards in NBA history. Averaging 5.5. I mean, Stockton was still doing near double digits in his old age. Career stats for Chris Paul. Let's put it in perspective. His postseason, where they need him, it's always in the postseason. Something happens. I don't know what it is. Career stats. He averages 18.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, nearly 10 assists. So to get into the argument, is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets? Obviously, James Harden is ball dominant. It's obvious. Don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But is it so bad that your assists go down almost 4? That's a big drop. Okay? Is it that big of a gap? Let's keep going down. So if you want to look at the law of diminishing returns, Houston Rockets, he played 58 games this year. He played 58 games last year. He played 61 games with the LA Clippers in 2016. He played 74 games in 2015. And then he had he had one 82-game season with the Clippers in 2014. Okay? And you look at that, was that his career year? So there's a lot of things to look at. 2018, focusing on 18, right? What did he do from a three-point percentage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so three-point percentage, he is shooting 35% from the floor. This is his worst year in 5 years. His worst in 5 years. Field goal percentage, 41% in 2018. This is his worst in 5 years. Okay? Everything's lining up here to tell a story. Assist-wise, 473 assists in total, 114 steals, okay? From, other than last year in 2017 when he had that injury, he's been averaging around, I'll say the average is around 680, 700 assists per year and around 150, 160 steals is what it shows over the course of 5 years if you average it out. Big drops. But it's father time. We get it. It's father time. But now, as a father, you have to step back. You have to say to yourself, where do I change my game? And he's changed a little bit to fit in with a superstar like James Harden. Because I'm afraid that if he gets moved, a team like, the Knicks, the Knicks will sign him, $500 million deal. A team that gets him is getting a diminished, depreciating asset. And it does not make sense at this time to go forward with going after a Chris Paul. So my rant for the day for Chris Paul is, judging by your stats as they continue to diminish, you better rethink a million times your want to leave James Harden. It may be so more so, how can Chris Paul continue to adapt to help James Harden? In this league, there's not one. There has to be two or three. And by yourself, my friends, it's a long road. All for sports, my rant for Chris Paul. There's nowhere to go, my friend. Houston is the equalizer, unless you're taking less money to go to the Lakers or one of those teams. This is your best option. Make it work. All for it. I'm out. Peace.